It's 10 a.m. on Friday, September 2nd. You're tuned into ARIRANG News. Thanks for joining us. I'm Hwang Ji-hye. We start with the political gridlock at Korea's National Assembly. All schedules have been cleared, including a vote on a proposed $9.8 billion supplementary budget, after the Assembly Speaker sparked outrage with some controversial remarks. In his opening remarks at the first regular session of the 20th Assembly, Chung Se-kyun urged an embattled aide to President Park Geun-hye to step down, saying it was shameful he's still in his role while under investigation by the prosecution. The ruling Saenuri Party says it has filed a complaint with the National Assembly Ethics Committee, accusing Chung of breaking rules that require the Speaker to remain politically impartial. Chung is set to lay out his stance later today. The rival parties are still hoping to narrow their differences, as the fiscal year budget proposal has to be submitted by this Friday. The Korean economy grew moderately in the second quarter. The Bank of Korea says the country's GDP expanded 0.8% on quarter in the April to June period. That's a pickup from the 0.5% growth recorded in the first quarter. However, growth has been stuck in the 0% range for 3 straight quarters now, fueling concerns the country may be falling into a low growth trap. Second quarter growth was mainly boosted by a gain in private consumption, which rose 1% on quarter. Spending dropped 0.2% in the first 3 months of this year. Construction investment was up more than 3%, while facilities investment expanded 2.8%. During the same period, gross domestic income fell 0.4%, marking the first drop in 7 quarters. Meanwhile, the IMF chief is urging global leaders to undertake forceful policies to avoid getting stuck in a prolonged period of low economic growth. Christine Lagarde says inaction is a risk too large to take. Her remarks come as leaders of G20 nations prepare to meet in China this weekend. Park Jong-hong has the details.
A sobering warning from the head of the International Monetary Fund. Christine Lagarde is calling on world leaders to take decisive action to revitalize the sluggish global economy. Her remarks come as G20 leaders prepare to gather in the Chinese city of Hangzhou this weekend. Lagarde said the world is facing what she referred to as a, quote, low-growth trap of high debt, weak demand, eroding workforces and labor skills, weakening incentives for investment, and slowing productivity.
We are not getting very good signals, and we will probably be revising slightly down our forecast for growth in 2016.
Lagarde also noted that as of 2016, global economic growth had stagnated for 5 years below the 3.7% average that was prevalent between 1990 and 2007. She said weak global growth coupled with rising economic inequality feeds a political climate in which countries resort to inward-looking policies. Park Jong-hong, ARIRANG News.
Korea's local court has approved Hanjin Shipping's bankruptcy filing. The decision to help restructure the shipper was made with unprecedented speed, but watchers say getting the company back on its feet will be a mammoth task. Hwang Ho-jun reports.
What people thought would take about a week was done within 48 hours. Hanjin Shipping, once Korea's biggest shipping firm, has been deemed fit to survive. The Seoul Central District Court decided late Thursday to put the ailing company under court-led restructuring, providing as much help as possible to ensure Hanjin stays afloat. The court said it took into consideration Hanjin's, quote, presence in the local shipping industry and its impact on the economy as a whole. In spite of the court's decision to resuscitate the company, the road to normalization will be a grind. In the 24 hours that followed Hanjin's decision to file for court receivership, ports around the world, including those in China, Spain, and the U.S., denied access to Hanjin ships over fears the firm's creditors could seize the cargo vessels before they dock, not to mention the ships potentially not being able to pay their fees. In fact, a smaller-sized Hanjin vessel, the Hanjin Rome, was seized by a creditor in Singapore late on Monday. Experts say more docks around the world will follow suit. The Wall Street Journal reports U.S. exporters are jostling to rebook containers with other carriers to reload their cargoes ahead of the retail boom that accompanies Thanksgiving, Hanukkah, and Christmas. Hanjin Shipping has halted its operations, and with global market share of 2.9%, the drop in tonnage will likely lead to skyrocketing costs.
Shipping companies have a lot of customers outside of Korea, so Hanjin's case is rather a global public concern with a greater impact than other companies.
The court will likely issue a preservation order and a comprehensive stay order, which will bar Hanjin's creditors from seizing ships from overseas. Hyundai Merchant Marine, Korea's number 2 shipper, has added 13 ships on routes to the American and European regions to replace Hanjin Shipping's capacity. Hwang Ho-jun, ARIRANG News.
The eldest son of the founder of Korean retail giant Lotte Group is back home this morning after a grueling 17-hour questioning session at the Seoul Central District Prosecutor's Office. Shin Dongjoo was questioned over allegations he received over $35 million from the group's major affiliates. Prosecutors suspect he received the money as a stipend by just being listed as a board member of the companies between 2006 and 2015. Shin refused to answer reporters' questions when he left the prosecutor's office at 3 a.m. Korea time. Some sources say he admitted to accepting the money, but that has not been confirmed. There is an ongoing probe into Lotte Group's irregularities that include the creation of massive slush funds and embezzlement. And that brings us to the end of our newscast. More updates coming up at noon, so stay tuned and goodbye for now.